And we are live. Welcome to our live show. Today we are featuring a beautiful couple, Karen Miles and her husband, Jeff. Now, in this live stream, they're going to share their story, specifically how Jeff is beating stage 4 prostate cancer with a carnivore diet. So this story I'm very interested in, especially because I just posted my father's story, how he beat pancreatic cancer and rectal cancer with an animal-based diet. So Karen and Jeff, huge welcome. Introduce yourselves.
Hey, first of all, thanks for having us on. This is pretty exciting. Bella and I met a few years ago. First, we met on a Zoom just like this on her Steak and Butter Gang. I was one of her first 10 people that she had in her group. And now look at how many she's got in groups. Real happy about that. We met at a carnivore doctor's house, and at the meetup that weekend, we went swimming in the ocean together. We've had a lot of time together. So love you, Bella. Thanks for having us.
I love you so much.
Love you too. And I credit you for making me be friends with a whole bunch of people. First off, Kelly Hogan brought Jackie Jam and I together. And then Jackie Jam and I went on your group, and we met all these people that we met on Zoom. And then Carnivore Doctor had a meetup, and all these people came, all of our friends. So we got to meet. So we always thank you, Kelly, and the Carnivore Doctor, for Jackie and my friendship, and lots of other people. So thank you very much. I've met so many people through you.
Oh, okay. I'm honored. Honored.
Yeah, thank you.
Welcome to both of you. So how did you find carnivore first, Karen?
I found carnivore 5.5 years ago. I was low carb for a little over 2 years, had a success, lost some weight, lost like 35 pounds, felt good. I felt good, but I still was eating other stuff I shouldn't be eating, and I still had some pain and stuff like that. Then I heard Dr. Berry for months talk about the carnivore diet. Who eats just meat? Just like every one of us said, who eats just meat? So I'm like, what the heck? So I said, and then talked about Kelly Hogan. I'm like, let me look this lady up. I looked her up. I'm like, oh, wow, she's pretty interesting. She didn't have a YouTube channel. I didn't know her on Instagram yet, but I looked her up and found her on different YouTubes. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this sounds good. Jumped in it right away. And in 3 days, my ankle pain that was killing me for 3 weeks, because I ate stuff over Thanksgiving. 3 weeks later, I jumped on this, and in 3 days, it totally was gone, my ankle pain. So I'm like, if it could heal my ankle pain, what else could it heal? And on and on and on. I had joint pains in my knees, my back, my shoulders. I'd toss and turn all night long because everything was in pain. I hurt so bad. I'd wake up and I would walk like an old lady. I mean, I'm 65. Walk really old, like an old lady, walk into the bathroom in the morning because I hurt so bad. Couldn't even stand up straight. Now I jump out of bed and I don't toss and turn all night. Yeah.
Amazing. And then how did Jeff find, well, obviously through you, but what was the catalyst for Jeff to go carnivore?
Well, obviously what I did for 70 years wasn't working. So I'd seen, firsthand what it did for her. You can't do any worse than what I already did. So what the heck? Jump in with both feet and pretend like you like it.
So the main reason he went carnivore, he was diagnosed with stage 4 prostate cancer, like you said, metastasized to the spine and his lymph nodes. And in the hospital, he said, oh, I'm going to eat like you. I said, what do you mean eat like me? You're going to do like low carb? He said, no, carnivore. I said, oh, really? I didn't think you would do that. So I was a 4.5-year carnivore at that point, and he jumped in right away, and he does amazing. And it'll be 12 months in July, and this is the end of May. So, coming on his 1-year anniversary and carniversary in July. So that's pretty cool.
I'm so curious what Jeff's doctor thinks of his diet.
Oh, we don't talk about that. You just might as well be talking French. They won't even look at you when you mention carnivore.
We mentioned it. I wasn't doing that. Oh, you could just moderate what you eat. You could eat sugar. No, we're not eating any sugar. You can eat grains.
You really want to light them up? Tell them you're taking fenbenzimab. Yeah. Or what's that other one? Ivermectin.
You're not on that.
I know I'm not taking ivermectin, but I had 3 sisters that died within 7 months from cancer. 7 months, 3 of them.
Oh man, I'm so sorry.
And you mentioned cancer, and it's like, I was done.
And they didn't want to try any of the different. They did all the doctor route, and so did we. He did 6 rounds of chemo, but we did other things like this fenbenzimab and the carnivore diet. And
it's still so controversial. And I just looked at everybody that said I was dumb and says, what can it do? Kill me? I'm going to die anyway. So I took it, and I'm still taking it. I'm on my third tube of it.
Oh, fenbendazole. Yeah, I'm talking about the carnivore. Yeah, and then 10 months, almost 11 months of it. So his prostate numbers, actually just at lab work today, but we never get the prostate till the next day. But his prostate started at 556. It's now under 1. They like it under 4. It's now under 1. So I'm really curious to see what it is. So we're praising God for that. And his lymph nodes, they cannot find anything in his lymph nodes. No sign of cancer in his lymph nodes. And his spine we saw x-ray. His spine didn't look good. His spine is getting more dense. So I'm very happy. I asked, when we were done with the chemo, a couple months afterwards, I said, can we, do another scan just to see what's happening? Because you got to be proactive. You can't just let them take the reign all the time. You have to ask them different things. Or else they won't take the lead. I'm like, hey, can we do this? Can we get this tested? Can we get the A1C tested? They don't do all that just all the time.
Yeah,
So,
you do have to ask for it. That is incredible. Congratulations. Now, I do have to ask, Jeff, what are you eating? I know you're on a carnivore diet, but I'm sure we all want to know exactly what types of foods you're eating. How many meals a day do you eat? What are your favorite meals to eat?
Well, I just eat whatever she cooks. Don't make no difference. I'm not a fussy eater. See, I drove truck. I was an owner operator for 40 years. So I'm used to eating anything that won't eat me. And I'm not fussy. It doesn't matter.
You said I'm not a good cook.
When I eat, or if I do eat, if I don't eat,
But
you won't die. You miss a meal or two, you won't die.
he eats 3 meals a day. A lot of times it's bacon and eggs. It's leftover. It's lunch maybe is a hamburger with a fried egg with cheese and fried egg on top. Chicken thighs. We had ribeye tonight with homemade broth that I made, and the leftover. I made a chuck roast. The leftover juices I strain and save, and I add that to my bone broth and add some spices, and it's a little heavy whipping cream. It's amazing. Sometimes leftover meat. I'll make meats. I have Courtney Luna's cookbook, and I love Courtney Luna. I got to meet her too in Vegas, great lady. And I make her kind of pizza or pizzas out of there. What did you do? Oh, I love picanha. We love picanha. So it's hard to find. I have to special order it sometimes. And I'll buy extra, throw it in the freezer. And we love picanha a lot. We never had that before, going to a Brazilian steakhouse. We like Brazilian steakhouses. There's one about an hour away. And it's a different owner now, but the other owner used to know us. And we'd come in, hey, how you doing, carnivore friends? So, yeah. But we eat anything and everything. We eat pork, chicken, beef. I really love beef. And whenever he would get like treatment, I'd always make sure we had a nice beefy meal the day before, the day of, and the day after. Because I think beef is the best healer out there. So.
Fantastic. And I actually learned a lot of delicious carnivore recipes and cooking hacks from Karen Miles herself. I highly recommend everyone to follow Karen on Instagram. Her Instagram handle is karen.s.miles.3. It is also linked down below in the description box. She has fantastic carnivore recipes. Now, I wanted to give the mic to Dr. Phil here. Can you please explain how is it possible that Jeff here is beating prostate cancer? My dad beat pancreatic cancer just by being aware of diet and making changes to diet. How is that possible?
Well, I think the work of Dr. Thomas Seaff at Boston University is really important for people to look at, because there was work done back at the turn of the 20th century, so almost 100 years ago, showing that malignant cells thrive on sugar and glutamine, glutamine being the sweet amino acid, and sugar being in the form of glucose, and that we get in our sucrose and other things. And his research has shown that it all begins with inflammation in the mitochondria, which is the powerhouse of the cell, where the glucose is broken down through what's called the Krebs cycle and becomes the energy powerhouse. And the malignant cells like to feed on the glucose, and not so much on the glutamine, but that's a secondary fuel source. So when you go carnivore, you're diverting your metabolism from mostly using glucose as an energy source to using ketone bodies for an energy source. And that's what we call a ketogenic diet, is one that you're preferably producing a lot of ketone bodies from breakdown of fat. And that helps to heal the mitochondria. It helps to, doing some fasting helps to promote autophagy, which is causing the death of broken mitochondria and replacement with new cells in your body. And by starving the tumor, your immune system is better adapted to start fighting the tumor cells. So that's why it's not the only treatment for cancer, but it's a nutritional treatment which will make other things that you're doing for your cancer therapy to work better. So in stage 4 prostate cancer, we usually treat with an anti-testosterone drug. And this is of interest to everyone because President Biden, it was recently revealed last week that he has stage 4 prostate cancer. So he would be treated the same way. So someone needs to tell him to go carnivore.
Let's all spread the word together as a community. That's the best way to go about it. Now let's give some shout outs here. I see Jackie's here.
I see
Hi,
that.
Jackie.
Just found
My
the chat
gosh.
box. Yeah.
Yes,
Linda the
welcome.
Carnitarian. Yeah.
Hi, Linda. I met Linda in Tennessee. She is so
Lovely.
gorgeous in person. Welcome, Linda.
Linda and
Thank
I
you,
played
everyone.
pickleball together. Jackie and I played
Aw.
pickleball together. Yep.
How fun. That's so awesome. So we're taking questions now. You guys heard a little recap of Karen and Jeff's carnivore story, and they both are willing to answer any questions, give any insight through their carnivore experience and healing journeys. You can also ask Todd, Phil, and me questions as well. We go live here to help you guys out with your carnivore journeys and your healing goals. Okay, so drop the question in the live chat. You can choose to start with a capital Q if you want, and we're going to go in order from first question to last throughout this live. Go ahead, Karen.
Q. I have a question, not a question. I have a comment.
Go ahead.
One of these really cool things about Jeff, when he started carnivore right away, in 3 days, his stomach stopped bothering him. He said, my stomach doesn't hurt anymore. I said, you had me stop giving you salads months ago. Your stomach is bothering you? Yep, this whole time. I'm like, what? In 3 days, so many times you hear people say 3 days. 3 days his stomach stopped bothering him. I didn't even know it was bothering him. I didn't know. 3 days. He used to have this little tremor in his hands, not all the time, but every now and then. He never goes to the doctor, so we don't know. What all that. But that went away like really, really, really soon. He started sitting and standing straighter up. He had athlete's foot. That went away. He said at one point his brain-body connection was better. When he was in the hospital, his glucose. Now, I took his glucose every now and then. And it was probably 9 months before when I did. I don't know. But his glucose in the hospital was like 250. And now it's still a little higher than we want. It's like 210. We have a CGM on him. And it's like 210. And like, how could it be? How could it be? In July, his A1C was 7.1. And we had it done last time. It was 5.3. So we were real happy about that. So amazing. I'm surprised this 5.3 was still having the glucose being 110. Dr. Smith, Dr. Phil, do you know anything about that? It's running like 110, but it's 5.3. What do you have to say about that?
Yeah, so basically, if the hemoglobin A1C is under 5.6, I really wouldn't worry about what a random fasting glucose is, because remember, he's living carnivore, so he's doing some gluconeogenesis. His liver is producing some glucose, but the insulin resistance that he had when his hemoglobin A1C was 7.1 meant that he had plenty of sugar around, high levels, that damages the mitochondria, like I mentioned, and it also promotes tumor growth. So part of your treatment, Jeff, is getting that hemoglobin A1C down into the normal range, which means that your average blood sugar is actually down in the normal range. So don't worry about every so often, because some people get a little anxious every time they go to have their blood drawn, and in anticipation of the 10 to 12-hour fast, you get a little spike in cortisol. You go in, you get your blood drawn, and you get that intermittent high glucose over 95. But if the hemoglobin A1C is less than 5.6, you know your average is great. So
okay, this is with a CGM. We pay out of pocket.
yeah,
for CGM.
okay. Yeah, and I tell people sometimes we monitor too much.
Yeah.
I'm a kind of a minimalist. When we do these blood panels of 20 tests on them, people don't realize that carnivores typically have 3 or 4 of them out of whack just because our metabolism is not the normal USA metabolism. And so they get abnormalities and they freak out, and someone tells them, oh, you got this or you got that, or you need to take this supplement or that supplement, when it's really nothing more than just your body's adapted to carnivore, and you need someone to look at them and explain how things fit in, like you just asked about the hemoglobin A1C and the fasting blood sugar. So great thing to bring up, Karen.
Thank you.
Perfect. Now, before we jump into questions to help you guys out, I saw this up here. Kyle, I see that you're in Montana. We'd also love where you all are hopping on from. Put it in the live chat and comment it, your location. Did you know, Kyle, that we're having a Montana in-person meetup on July 4th? I'm just going to take a moment to announce it for anyone who's new here in the live streams. Let's put it up. July 4th to July 5th. Just look at this beautiful lineup here. Oh, some faces are cut off. But we've got Dr. Chafee, his fiance Elle Chafee. We've got Dr. Baker coming, Dr. Kiltz, Dr. Wiedemann, Carnivore Ray is coming, Todd Bockness, it's his hometown, so he's hosting, and we've got Homestead How Carry Man coming. So this is the chance to make connections, to talk to Dr. Phil. He's going as well, to ask your questions, learn more about this lifestyle. I have met so many carnivores. They bring their husband, they bring their spouse, their wife, and because they brought them to an in-person meetup, they finally got them to convert just by talking to real life carnivores. You can make friends. You might be able to meet your romantic partner. You definitely can hang out with all of these experts and learn from them. So we welcome you all to come. It is at sbg.events. It's also linked down below in the description box. And again, it's July 4th to 5th this year, Bozeman, Montana. See you guys there. And I know Karen also hosts phenomenal carnivore meetups. She's the queen of meetups here. When is your next?
I'm having one, not this weekend, but next weekend, June 7th and 8th in Chicago. We call it the Chicagoland Meetup. It's actually in Naperville, Illinois. You got to hit me up, send me a message on Instagram or something to let me know, because I have to reserve seats. We have about 80 people coming from all over the country. Jackie's coming. We have from Washington State. We have people from Atlanta. We have people from the Northeast. We have Kelly Hogan's coming. Bella. Yeah. That'll be good. We haven't really majorly announced it because I don't want a ton of people there.
No, it's more fun when it's intimate. Yeah.
We have 80 people's plenty. 80 people's plenty of people. So, if it goes to 100, it goes to 100. But we hike in the morning. We have the meetup in the afternoon. We hang out at the hotel, the people that are coming from all over.
Love that.
The Naperville meetup is June 7th in Naperville, Illinois. Are you on Instagram? Follow me on Instagram. It's linked below.
Link down below. Yeah. So that's how people get invited to your Naperville meetup, by DMing you on Instagram, correct?
Right. I'm on Instagram. I talk about it on Instagram, and because I need to reserve a seat. I hate to have 40 people show up and I don't have a seat for them. But we're going to hike in the morning at 11. The meetup's at 2. We hang out at the hotel for those that are staying there all night long. And the next morning we play pickleball. And if you've never played, I'll teach you how to play. I'll have paddles and balls, and I teach people how to play. So perfect. Come on, Keto Simple, come over.
Yay.
We had Hoosier Carnivores come to one of my meetups before. Come on over.
Great. Yeah. So please click on Karen's profile in the description. DM her. She'll give you the invites who are in Chicago, Naperville area. Okay. Yay, Danielle. Great.
Danielle,
Good to see you here.
Hit me up.
Perfect. All right, let's jump into questions. I see this one. Phil, maybe you can take this. Rose wants to know, can this carnivore diet help with lichen sclerosis?
Lichen sclerosis, but that you did pretty well. This is a dermatologic condition. It usually happens in postmenopausal women. It's typically thinning of the skin. Yes, you definitely improve the thickness of all skin when you go carnivore.
Yeah.
And we see people that as you get older, the skin of your arms gets thinner and you get tears and you get purple spots and bruising. Well, lichen sclerosis is in a different part of the lady's body, but as you nourish yourself, especially carnivore, you lay down more collagen and more subcutaneous tissue. And we see many people with a myriad of what we call atrophic dermatologic conditions or thinning conditions of the skin actually build up the skin and get better. Now, we don't know how fast that'll happen, but it's so funny. My dermatologist is a friend of mine. I've known him since residency, and he used to freeze precancer spots. I live in Florida, and he used to freeze precancer spots on my scalp every year, and I go in and last year, for the first year in like 10, he hasn't had to freeze any because the skin gets healthier at the microscopic level. And he knows I'm carnivore, and he said, if everybody went low carb, I'd be out of business.
And Rose says, I am only 45.
Oh, that's really young to get lichen sclerosis. So you definitely need more protein and more fat, and that improves your estrogen levels. And estrogen is really important. We think lichen sclerosis is a form of autoimmune disease, and carnivore is an extremely anti-inflammation diet. So, wish you the best, Rose.
Yes, please keep us posted. Thank you, Rose. Yeah,
My nephew Ken is here. He has a question or comment. Greetings from Thailand. He just moved here from there, from the United States. My wife is Buddhist, so I honor that by not eating beef. He's been at my house numerous times and had carnivore meals with me. What supplements would I be taking to counter the non-beef carnivore diet? Deli, fish, seafood. He's probably walking his dogs right now because it's like 5 a.m. right now. He said, I'll get up early and walk the dogs and listen. So thanks.
Well, lamb needs to be added in this list. I mean, lamb is an excellent source of red meat, along with everything else he listed. But lamb is great. And if you haven't had lamb lollipops, which are the lamb ribs individually cut and put in an air fryer, to die for. Yeah, so good.
Yeah, but do you think Ken needs actual supplements if he's only eating?
Yeah, yeah. His supplements is lamb.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean,
he's
got a great diet: fish, seafood, chicken, pork. I mean, add a little red meat in there. Get some lamb in there.
Eggs. Maybe try some eggs, Ken. Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
Hey, Candy Cane, I saw your message. I'll write you down. Hopefully there's one or two. Let me know. And Keto Simple, if you're going to come put it in here. I cannot answer this chat. I don't want to get myself messed up. I cannot answer this chat. It won't let me type. So.
Oh, no worries. Yeah.
So put it here, Candy Cane and Keto Simple.
Yes, please do that. Thank you, Ken. All right. This is from Epi. Hey, Dr. Smith, any tips on becoming fat adapted? I currently have issues absorbing fat, and I've had bad bowel movements every time I restart carnivore. Any tips on how to incorporate fat into my diet without issues?
Yeah, this is something we deal with in the Steak and Butter Gang every month. We start at the beginning of the month, and we have helped so many people, and we have quite a few different ways to address it. But a nice way to start is to eat smaller meals and eat frequent meals. So eat like 5 times a day. Stay with the leaner meats when you're starting out, things like sirloin. If you make ground beef, drain it real well and start with minimal amounts of fat and then slowly go up. And some people temporarily, like 30 days, add in some lipase, which is the fat digesting enzyme that you can actually buy and take a couple capsules prior to every meal. And what you're trying to do is to restore your normal regulation of your bile, which emulsifies fat, your gallbladder function, if you have one, which releases the bile, and your cholecystokinin, which causes the gallbladder to contract and release fat at the right time. And so you want to eat smaller meals so that you're allowing the time for the food to move through the stomach in the first part of the intestine called the duodenum. You want to slow that down, and you do that, and normally within 4 to 6 weeks people can get back through that adaptation phase. But I really encourage you to join our 90-day challenge, which we'll probably talk about in a little bit, and we can help you even more to get through that adaptation phase.
Yeah, Phil's helping out big time in the Steak and Butter Gang meetings, and he is so helpful for troubleshooting adaptation issues. I actually see a challenge question here from Summer. Welcome, Summer. Nice to see you. She says, hello, I have a question regarding the 90-day challenge. Yes, it's okay to ask here. I really want to do the upcoming SBG 90-day challenge, but I'm not on any social media, and I'm wondering if I need to be in order to access the support group. You absolutely do not need to be on social media. We purposely chose this platform because it is off social media. It does not require Facebook, Instagram, no socials. You just have to create an account. And once you create your account, you can go ahead and interact with everyone, hop on the Zoom calls, access everything there is for the 90-day transformation challenge, which begins, by the way, June 3rd. So this is a very special experience. The entire team and I are very excited to do this because we're not just going to focus on weight loss. Even though when you hear transformation challenge, you automatically think about transforming your body. We hope that everybody who joins not only transforms their body, but also their mental health, their physical health, everything inside out. So we're excited to welcome anyone in. It's also linked down below in the description box. And we also will be giving out cash prizes this time, which is the first $2,000 in cash prizes to keep you guys inspired.
Yeah.
When is it?
You can answer too, Karen, June 3rd.
That's cool. That's cool, Bella. Hey, somebody asked about Serena's tallow. Sorry about that, Phil. Purely Tallow is the name of her tallow and Carnivore Revolution. I know Linda the Conetarian put that. But Purely Tallow, great product by Serena.
Love Serena.
Yeah, I wanted to make a comment about not being on social media because when I retired a few years ago, I got off all social media. And that's one of the reasons I felt safe going on the Steak and Butter Gang, because it's a completely private network. So you don't have to deal with all the trolls and people that are being critical or giving you a hard time. So it's like a family closed chat, and we learn a lot from each other, and it's really a great experience.
The only troll is Todd cracking jokes. That's it.
That's right. That's right.
Place. Such a
and
safe
my dad jokes.
That too. We love it. All right, let's keep going. Hi, Kyle. Dr. Ben Bickman states he does not recommend people over 60 years of age to fast. What are your thoughts? Well, let me first ask Karen and Jeff, do you guys fast at all?
We do not.
No.
3 meals a day.
Fantastic.
Or whatever. It's not necessary. I'm used to eating, not eating. We grew up so poor we couldn't afford anything. So if you got something to eat that day, it was a good day. If it wasn't, well, you'll survive.
Before he was carnivore, he didn't eat breakfast, but now that he's carnivore, I want him to eat. I want him to I want him to eat. He's lost a bunch of weight and he's lost a bunch of muscle and weight. I mean, if he gained muscle, it'd be great, but with that, not the testosterone reducing drugs, it's tough. So I definitely, he eats 3 meals a day, and a lot of times I give him a snack too.
Well, that testosterone reducing stuff is deadly. I can't pick up a 5-gallon can of gas. I can't pick up my 4-year-old granddaughter, and I can't pick up a car battery. But life is good, just wonderful. I'm sorry. That's enough.
Thank you for your answers. I love it. Phil, did you want to chime in?
Yeah, I definitely like to comment on this because, in all respect to Dr. Bickman, I love him and I think he's great. But there is no contraindication to people over the age of 60 fasting. You just need to know how to do it. And in Steak and Butter Gang, we really subscribe to nourish fasting, and it all depends on what you call fasting. You know, not eating for 24 hours. Some people call that an intermittent fast. It's not really a fast, but it is a great way to tackle some of the conditions that we get as we get older, especially things like insulin resistance and some of the inflammatory diseases, also promoting autophagy in the body. But there is no reason you have to fast. So there are times, though, that fasting is a good thing, and it shouldn't be taken out of the tool chest just because of your age. I'm 68. I'm fasting right now, and I'm not dragging or, you know, ready to pass out or anything. I've been fasting, 29 hours right now. So,
yeah.
Well, and I'm Phil, 68.
Why do you fast though? What are the benefits you're after with fasting?
Yeah, well, number one, autophagy. I think that's the good thing. And right now I'm planning to go for a 72-hour fast, and I do that every quarter, every 3 months, because it's been shown to affect, maximize autophagy to your immune cells, your mast cells, your white blood cells. So it's a strategy to really help you kill off the less than optimal immune system cells and replace them with good, healthy cells.
Perfect. Let's keep going. We've got this one up on the screen. I have been really confused over the best cancer diet. I eat clean whole foods, but I still eat fruit. What did everyone else do? Strict carnivore? Now, Karen, if you can just recap, what did Jeff do to continue beating cancer?
Strict carnivore. And he tried to get his ketones up. He took a shot of MCT oil every day. And when he had his treatment, I'd give him some Dr. Boz exogenous ketones and stuff like that. So I did that.
Perfect.
Too.
Yeah, I have to share an anecdotal story because we had a really good friend that was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer, and his wife got the idea and she wouldn't listen to anybody. And so she decided to do nothing but juice and put him on a juice diet. And I've never seen a prostate cancer take the life of a person faster than someone juicing. And it's because, and we know physiologically it's because you're feeding basically pure fructose to fructose and glucose to the person, and it's like pouring gasoline on a prostate cancer.
Yeah, for those who are new here or new to this low carb carnivore community, Phil, could you confirm that sugar is probably the worst food if you have cancer, if you're trying to prevent cancer?
Well, I'm not going on my saying it. That's what Dr. Thomas Seaff would say at Boston University, because there's 80, 90 years of research that shows that glucose and fructose are cancer promoters. And think about it. If you look at risk factors for cancer, obesity, insulin resistance, having immune syndromes, all are fed by having, high carbohydrate loads. So you choose for yourself. You don't need me to tell you that. All you got to do is, read what the risk factors are for cancer. And most people don't realize that insulin resistance and obesity are two of the biggest risk factors, and right up there with cigarette smoking. And people that don't smoke think nothing of drinking a Mountain Dew.
Right. And I do recommend for you asking this question, alternative cancer treatment. Check out my video that I featured with my dad. He shared a lot about what worked for him, and he did eat some fruit here and there. I'll link it in the live chat. All right, let's keep going.
Bill, I'm on a couple of Facebook pages, prostate cancer Facebook pages, and I've mentioned Carnivore a couple of times, and they attack me. It's like, oh my gosh, you can eat red meat, blah, blah, blah. A couple times I got support, but a few times I'm like, screw it, I'm going off this. I'm not even going to be on this channel anymore. I hate it. Facebook page. I'm like, I don't do it too much anymore, but I have. Like, I might put this video on one of the prostate Facebook pages too. It's like, I want more people to know about this. So
yes,
I'll put it on.
Well, it seems like some of the social networks, the trolls, are probably sitting in their parents' basements.
Yeah. Or their own bedroom.
And all they do is troll, So
well, but they're saying, oh, my doctor says no red meat. Oh, I'm vegan. I gave up this, that, and the other. It's like, you do you, I'll do me. This is working for us. But if it's working for you, go ahead, buddy. Do it.
Yeah, my cardiologist is a vegetarian, and he says no red meat. So he's still my cardiologist. I mean, I can't help it. History's going to prove one of us right?
Okay, I have a comment about a cardiologist. I went to a cardiologist. I had a CAC score or scan. Yeah. I talked to Raymond about it. And I know Raymond's was high and Dr. Kiltz's was high. I talked to him about it too. And I decided to go to my doctor. My doctor had a fit when he knew it was 369. When it's 400, they really flip out, but 369 is high. You like it to be zero, as close to zero as you can. So mine was 369. So my doctor had a fit. Would you go do a stress test with a dye? I said, I don't want to do a stress test with a dye. I've heard bad things about that. I don't. Oh, Karen, that's ridiculous. I said, I don't want to do it. He said, would you go see a cardiologist? I said, yeah. Okay. He's wanted me to do a statin. I said, I don't want to. So I went and saw a cardiologist, talked to him. I said, hey, can I have an angiogram? Can you do an angiogram on me? I don't want to do a stress test with dye. I do not want to do it. So he did the angiogram on me. They said, pack a bag, because if we have to put a stent in, you're going to spend the night in intensive care. I'm like, what? Like, Karen, we're dealing with your heart. I didn't realize that, but think about it, right? So I brought my bag, all worried and stuff. Got my my coronary arterium. What am I saying? My angiogram. Thank you. Done. And he comes to see me as I'm coming to and stuff. He said, Karen, your arteries in your heart is as good as a 20-year-old. I'm like, what? What? I said, how can my test numbers be so crazy? He said, you know what? You can't always trust those tests. I'm like, thank you. 20-year-olds. Yeah.
That's very eye-opening.
I was 64 when I had that. So
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. That says a lot. You can't always trust the numbers on your lab work. It's not everything. Yeah. Yep. All right. Let's keep going. This is from Linda. I'm 62. Should I eat 2 or 3 meals a day? Well, we here on the team at least recommend starting off with 3 meals a day if you're new to carnivore, just because it's the best way to ensure that you're not under eating. And I think we can all agree that one of the biggest pitfalls and hurdles is under eating on a carnivore diet. So to prevent that, start with 3 meals a day. If you don't have the appetite for 3, you can taper down to 2. Cisse, Dr. Smith, does high testosterone cause prostate cancer? If yes, carnivore men are in trouble.
So there's a difference between causing cancer and treating cancer. So there's no evidence that having higher testosterone levels predisposes you to prostate cancer. But once you have prostate cancer, the testosterone does impact it. So that's why we treat with an anti-testosterone. But it's not considered a causation. So, in fact, we don't see an increased risk of prostate cancer in carnivore men because you don't have the preconditions to cancer, typically the inflammation, the damage to your mitochondria, and the obesity and the insulin resistance. So you take away the things that are leading to the cancer. First off, it's just like women taking natural bioidentical estrogen don't have a higher risk of breast cancer, but they do if they're taking cow or horse estrogen, because it's not identical to what the human body takes. But once cancer has formed in the breast, about half or more are sensitive to the estrogen, and the estrogen begins to feed the cancer. But it's not a causation. It's because the cells are mutated. So what you want to do is prevent the mutation of your breast cells or your prostate cells by reducing inflammation, avoiding insulin resistance, and living a healthier lifestyle. That's such a great question. In fact, you're the first person to ask that to me.
Good job, Cisse. All right. Christy wants to know what's all of our quick fix meal slash snack. Todd, do you want to go first?
Right now it's pemmican bars.
Yeah, he's obsessed.
Right. I'm making a lot of pemmican bars, but generally I don't do snacks, but my quickest meal, which is the meal that I eat most, is just a ribeye in the air fryer. I mean, it's done in just minutes and it's fantastic every time. I don't think you can beat it.
Yeah, love that. Karen, what's yours? And Jeff?
Snacks, I would say I dehydrate meat a lot of times, and we love pork loin, thinly sliced dehydrated, or ribeye or brisket or anything like that. What's your favorite snack, Jeff?
Whatever you give me.
Whatever. I give him Prime Equip ice cream shakes, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Hot drink. I make him hot drinks a lot with heavy whipping cream. I give him a lot. If I make a drink with Equip, I don't do it a lot, but here's my hot chocolate, there's a tablespoon of heavy whipping cream. His is 3/4 heavy whipping cream and this much water. I give him a lot of that because he doesn't like the fat on the steak and all that stuff. And so I butter stuff for him. And yeah.
Perfect. Yeah. Great tips right there. My go-to meal, quick fix meal, ground beef, scrambled eggs. I mean, I just scramble the whole thing together. Eggs and ground beef. It's delicious. Snack, cold stick of butter. All right. Oh, there we go. Okay. Gunther, thank you very much. First and foremost, I hope Jeff has a full recovery. Yes, we all do. Absolutely. My question on carnivore, I hear not eating enough fat can raise blood glucose. Can that feed cancer? If so, what is a good fat to protein ratio to starve cancer, Dr. Phil?
Hey, I'm getting too many of these questions. So, first off, fat does not raise your blood glucose. So you're correct there. Protein actually can. And so your balance you want to be in is for a man is at least 1-to-1 fat to protein in grams. Women, it tends to lean towards 2-to-1 to get optimal care of your female hormones. Your sex hormones really need more fat. But I would say if you're really interested in starving cancer, you probably need to go about 1.5-to-1. And if you're treating cancer, Dr. Seaff would tell you to actually go measure your ketones. You can get a Keto Mojo, and you really want to get in ketosis. And some of us that are really fat adapted aren't in that much ketosis. So the question is, how do you do it? And you raise the fat more. So you can, if you're treating cancer, you want to get really serious about what does it take to keep me in ketosis. And I would refer you back to Dr. Siegfried.
Good.
Perfect. All right. Thank you for the question. Keep us posted.
Somebody
Yes.
asked about they can't afford the Steak and Butter Gang, but there's a free platform over there. You don't have to do if you can't afford it, you could just go ahead and do that. You could ask questions, post stuff, look at stuff. There's a whole bunch over there. Don't just say I can't afford it. Maybe next month you can, but go over there.
Thank you, Karen. Let me drop the email to access our free forum link. So if you guys would like to join the general forum, it doesn't include any of the Zoom calls, but it is free and you can interact and get the accountability that way. Just email sbgchallenge@gmail.com and just say, may I have the free link or something, and we'll send it over to you. The email is in the live chat. Okay, let's do Ashley next. I've heard chemo can cause GERD. I'm curious if you had GERD symptoms while on carnivore and chemo. Well, Karen, did Jeff do chemo?
Yeah, he did chemo, 6 rounds.
6 rounds? And did
Wouldn't recommend that.
Wouldn't recommend. Yeah. Did he have GERD at all?
No.
What is GERD?
Acid reflux.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
No.
No acid.
Burning in the throat and stuff. No.
Just everywhere else.
Yeah.
Okay. Phil, did you want to chime in?
No. It really depends on the chemo, but most people that have GERD, it goes away on carnivore. So,
yeah. Okay, Carnitarian, Linda. Dr. Phil, what's your opinion on what it is going to take for keto diet or Seaffried's protocol to become part of the standard of care? It seems like the current standard is barely helpful at all.
yeah, it's just going to take time. So we always say in healthcare, it takes 15 years minimum for a standard of care to change after there's good studies. And the problem is the studies with carnivore have been very, very limited. So we have to go to the keto literature. And what Dr. Siegfried is doing is repeating a lot of the studies that were done back in the 1930s to get updated publications. And he's using, ketogenic diets, not carnivore. So it's going to take a while. But when you see so many people extend lives and extend quality of lives, it's not that carnivores aren't doing any treatment. It's just they're adding the dietary factor, and the treatments they're taking seem to be more effective. And so, for instance, down at, I'm blanking right now on the big cancer center in Houston, Texas. It'll come to me in a second, but they don't even give you chemo in the brain cancer clinic until you go keto. They don't waste the chemo.
Really?
Yeah. And, when you starve the cancer cells of glucose and then you give them the chemotherapy, they're hungry and they eat it up, so it makes perfect sense to, what's the old thing? Feed a fever, starve a cold. Well, yeah, starve a cancer. And I think it'll probably be, unless something happens with the whole MAHA movement to move it along a little quicker, but there's so much resistance because let's face it, all the other things are big business in America and nobody makes a profit by promoting carnivore diet. I haven't made 1 penny being a carnivore, but I'm healthier. So
yeah, you don't make money. Why they don't want to promote it? Because the medical field is a huge business, and not only this country but all over.
Yeah, carnivore junkie put MD Anderson. That's exactly MD Anderson. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Phil. This one is up from Drill. My wife diagnosed with H. pylori today. Any ideas to cure other than antibiotics and proton pump inhibitors?
I take it this is for me too, so I'll answer it again. Well, first off, the reason you get H. pylori is because your stomach's not functioning normal. And I don't know if you can eradicate H. pylori without the triple antibiotic proton pump inhibitor treatment. And my wife had H. pylori and she went through that. But we also got her on a ketogenic diet. And I think when you combine the two, you're less likely to relapse with the H. pylori. But I've not seen any studies or known of anyone. Now, we have a lady that Rebecca Heinzman that Bella works with regularly. She may have some experience, and Rebecca will probably be
Right.
on this month in the SBG group, and we can ask her about that specifically. But I would
Yes.
I would be much more willing to do the H. pylori triple antibiotic or triple drug therapy, which is 2 antibiotics and a proton pump inhibitor for 6 weeks as a carnivore and feel pretty confident. But you also have to have the test after you finish treatment to make sure you've eradicated it. So even if you go a non-antibiotic approach, you should monitor it and make sure that you actually eradicated it if you do take a more holistic approach. But and I am not a big fan of proton pump inhibitors. I think they should be limited to 6 weeks. And I'm always telling people if you're taking it along the 6 weeks, you're going to be more likely to have complications long term than to benefit from it. So I will say a point about that because I run into people that have been on them for months to years, and I really they were never indicated for that. That's not how they should be taken. We see so many people that have really reduced their stomach acid too low, and that's why the things like H. pylori get hold because you've disturbed the normal function of the stomach, which is the stomach acid is actually what kills bacteria and gives you the benefit of being able to eat food and digest it appropriately because it begins the proper digestion of the food and the breakdown. So again, another topic I could talk hours on, but I won't. So.
Good luck. Keto Simple. Thoughts on carnivore, keto, and all other lifestyles under the PhD umbrella being necessary to heal the most people? It's going to take all of us. Thoughts?
I think it's good. We all spread the news. Yeah, we have a doctor here. We have steak and butter gal. We have as long as us normal people, not all these doctors spread the news. That's what's going to make a difference. I have so many people around in this area that have tried carnivore. Some are still on it, some are not. We've had one time 7 relatives at one time on carnivore. One was Ken from Thailand, another, there's numerous ones. I got a nephew that lives a quarter mile away that just started not too long ago, and he wasn't feeling well tonight. So Jeff ran him down some electrolytes. So, I mean, we got to help each other out because the doctors aren't going to help us like we want them to. So we all have to speak it out. That's why I have an Instagram channel and I like to play around with it. This is my hobby. I said, Jeff, this is my hobby. I love it.
That. And you're so good at it too, with spreading the word, referring people to different communities. I really appreciate that. And adding on to what Karen said, the real stories are why I found carnivore. So I want to say the real stories are where all the power and the convincing is at. So this applies to every single one of you guys watching. If you're experiencing any benefits, healing, transformations from a carnivore diet, keto diet, animal-based diet even, share it, put it in the comments. Don't stop talking about it, especially online, because when things go viral, they really go viral, and it helps a lot with this community to spread the word. Todd, what are your thoughts?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think that we're not gonna out propagandize big pharma and big food, but what we can do is make sure that we're very public about our results and about our healing, because the more that we stand up, especially long term, stay the course, and the more that we stand up, and we are a direct contradiction to the propaganda about animal fat and meat being a lie. Like if we stand up and show people that we've only eaten meat and animal products for however many months, years, and all the things that healed up.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they can't argue against it. I was just talking to a guy the other day, and it's funny because he's all about health and he's against big food and big pharma too, but he had all these opinions about pork. He said pork is one of the worst things you can put in the human body, and I'm like, I can think of about 600,000 other things that are worse than pork, which because there's 640,000 products in the average grocery store, and 638,000 of them don't even qualify as actual food, that people are eating. So it's it's crazy. But the longer we stand up and show them what heals, and that it heals cancer, that it heals heart disease, that it heals congestive heart failure, and it gives us a second chance, they can't argue with it. It's going to get to be too much.
Amazing. Thank you for saying that. Now, again, Karen, let me give you a chance to say. Okay. Yeah. So again, I went carnivore because Kelly Hogan talked about her story. And I think those OG carnivores who were not afraid to share their stories every single day. Otherwise, I would not be here right now talking about a carnivore lifestyle. I would not be carnivore myself. These real testimonials and stories that you guys can share every day matter so much. Talk about it in the comments. Get on people's channels, share your stories. Start your own YouTube channel already, guys. You can do it. If you need help, just ask in these live streams. I'm happy to give tips. Go ahead, Karen.
Two things about that. My buddy Jackie Jam, who's in there typing up, and I can't answer you guys. We have a YouTube channel called the Carnivore Twins. Jackie, if you could put it in there, that would be great. And Bella, she got some information how to do videoing through you, Bella. So thank you for that. And I see my buddy Adrian Gledhill's in here, and she asked if Adrian be at the meetup. And yes, he is going to be at the Chicagoland meetup next weekend. He's just coming in for the event. One of our buddies around here is picking him up. That's Carnivore, and taking him in for the day. And he'll be there, Adrian. So Adrian's been to my house. She spent the house with her husband and her kids and did a YouTube live right here from the same table. Right, Adrian? Yes, you did.
I love that. I love this carnivore community. You just meet the most amazing people who are so open, so generous. Love it. Okay, let's do this one and we'll wrap up soon. Welcome, Natalie. I've been carnivore for 5 weeks, eating meat, eggs, dairy, cheese, cream, butter, but don't feel like any of my symptoms have improved. Should I cut out dairy or just give it more time? So she's been on it for 5 weeks. What do you think, Karen? You're so experienced.
Should you give up dairy? You should give up dairy. If you're only 5 weeks into this, 5 weeks, I say hold on to it for a little bit. Maybe at 8 weeks, say, okay, I'm going to get rid of whatever, not the butter, keep the butter, but maybe get rid of the cheese. Don't have a snack of a cheese. Maybe have it on your hamburger, cheeseburger. Don't just go, oh, I want a snack and have some cheese. That's not the best way to do it. And then maybe, cut that out, and then cut out maybe the heavy whipping cream that you have in your coffee. I have heavy whipping cream in my coffee. I measure 1 tablespoon. That's what I do. I have 1 cup. Occasionally I have 2 cups. So you could limit it. That's a big change. You're only 5 weeks in, 5 weeks isn't that much. You're still a little baby carnivore. I'd say go.
I think you need to figure out what your problems were, what you're trying to fix, and where'd you start from and where you're trying to get to.
Yeah.
I mean, what's bothering you? What are you trying to fix?
I love that.
I mean,
yeah. And you won't know until you start experimenting.
Pardon?
Yeah. And you won't know what's bothering you until you experiment.
That's right.
Cutting it out, adding it back in. We highly recommend that, Natalie. So if you're not sure why your symptoms are not improving, start cutting out the things that you think might be inflaming you. Cut out the cheese, then cut out the cream, maybe even cut out the butter. Keep us posted. We're live every single week, and you can continue to ask us questions. And let's finish with this from Thomas. Can you eat only butter for 3 days and fast or longer? I guess we call that a fat fast, right, Phil? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, well, it depends on how much butter. I mean, if you eat so much fatty acids, eventually you'll get some conversion to other things in your body. But if you did a pat of butter once a day for 3 days, that would be considered a fat fast. If you do like Bella and eat, a whole box of butter every day,
I don't need a
I
butter.
wouldn't, I wouldn't call that a fat fast. I would call that a butter diet. So,
Yeah.
I call it this.
yeah, I mean, a little bit of butter during a fast, it helps some people maintain the fast, and it won't create a large amount of gluconeogenesis or any of the bad things. Butter's pretty good. And I wanted to respond to that last question about the 5 weeks. The one thing I've noticed in the SBG community is 2.5 to 3.5 years is when the best stuff happens to people. So that always helps me to see the 2.5 to 3.5-year-old carnivores, because that encourages me in seeing people like Karen, that the best, and Bella and Todd will soon be in that thing, but the best is yet to come. So I think that's an important reason to be in community, so that you're surrounded with people that you can interact with, ask questions, get feedback on, and just to have that hope that, well, I haven't solved this yet, but I'm hopeful. And we see so many miraculous cases, and I'm so glad to meet you tonight, Jeff, because having this friend who chose to go another route and see him succumb to prostate cancer so quickly, and it shouldn't have happened, but they listened to advice that I didn't think would turn out well, and it didn't turn out well. So, and I do it based on the science that I can get my hands on. So stay strong, Jeff. We really want to hear more from you. Okay. And I know you're not a big talker.
No. First of all, what I have to say, most people don't want to hear it the way I say it. I'm not very well educated. You don't drive a truck 40 years because you like people. Sorry. I don't know what to tell you.
Understood. But Jeff, we're so happy for you for making a decision to follow your wife, who's been such a good inspiration to so many people. And I'm just glad that you're here tonight, and thank you for sharing your story with us.
Nope, no problem. Appreciate the flowers.
I have numerous people that reach out to me every week. Hey, just as today, the lady said, my sister-in-law is a big-time carnivore. She told me about you, and I know who she said. She mentioned the lady, and she said, my husband was just diagnosed with cancer, and she told me the Gleason score and all this stuff. I'm like, And she said, what did you do? I said, we're all different. This is what I did. She said, don't tell my sister-in-law. She doesn't know yet. I'm like, ooh, I know her sister-in-law really well. I'm like, okay, I will. She said, we'll tell her soon. But I have numerous people every week reach out, ask me about whether a carnivore or not. So
yes,
I hope to help out, and we're glad to help out.
Yeah. Karen and Jeff, I'm very grateful that you guys shared your story. Now we have this video as a shareable link. So everyone who's watching this live stream, please share this video with anyone you think would benefit from it. Please like, please subscribe, and also please take a minute to go support Karen on her Instagram page and her YouTube channel as well. I'm going to announce and repeat some of the announcements again at the end here who joined late. We are having our challenge starting June 3rd. Okay. And this is a great place, not just to focus on transforming your health and your body, but to learn from the faces shown on the screen there. So we're having Dr. Ovadia, Dr. Bright, our team of coaches, Dr. Phil, Dr. Chafee, Dr. Kilt, Dr. Baker. If you haven't heard of these doctors, they are changing the world by spreading the word about this carnivore keto lifestyle. And you guys can ask them questions live as part of the challenge. I'm actually, thanks to Karen and this inspiring interview today with Jeff, I'm going to reach out to Dr. Thomas Seaff to also have him answer questions as part of the 90-day challenge, so that you guys can learn directly from him about cancer. And then the Montana meetup. let's put that up as well for anyone who wants some fun and to meet these doctors in person, happening July 4th to 5th. Both links that are clickable are in the description box, so feel free to check it out. And I want to give Karen one more opportunity to talk about her Chicago meetup. When is it? How do people attend?
Chicagoland meetup, June 7th at Mission Barbecue at 2 p.m. in Naperville, Illinois. If you could come, try to find me somehow or put it in the description box under the YouTube,
yes.
and I will look at it for the next week or so. I'll look under there for some.
Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah, if anyone has no social media or Instagram, comment it under this video. It'll be posted after we finish the live. Comment it. Karen will monitor the comments and invite you guys directly.
And Candy
All
Cane,
right?
I'm writing you down if you show up. And Jackie
Candy
also
Cane,
texted
yes.
me, Candy Cane. All right.
All right.
And I'm also in the Steak and Butter gang too. So if you look for me on there. All right.
Oh,
Thanks again for having us, Bill. We appreciate it.
Love you so much, Karen. You're the best. Thank you so much, Jeff.
Tell Max hi. Tell Max hi.
I will.
Yeah.
We will see you guys on Friday. Thank you for joining. Take care.
Hey, guys.
Bye.